Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Legal Environment of Business at Ozarka College. Today what I want to do is give you just a little bit of feedback on the chapters 11 through 13 activities that I finished grading this morning. And then I'm going to tell you what we've got coming up due for chapters 14 and 15 early next week. And then also, believe it or not, we've got our midterm exam coming up next week as well. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. All right, so the first thing is, like I said, I did finish grading the chapters 11 through 13 activities this morning. A lot of them I had graded yesterday, but I finished grading those that were turned in late yesterday. I went in and graded those this morning. So if you haven't already looked at your grades for those chapters 11 through 13 activities, go ahead and do that as soon as you can. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Overall, most of you did very well on the chapters 11 through 13 activities. So I was I really appreciate those of you that are putting the time and effort in. It really shows. So I appreciate that. Keep up the good work on that. Very pleased with the scores on the assignment and the information that you gave for each question. On the discussion, I thought that went very well. If you remember, it dealt with the difficulty of calculating the compensation for breach of contract. The goal of the court system when trying to compensate the non-breaching party to a contract for the breach of contract is to get both parties back to where they were before the breach occurred. But sometimes that's difficult depending on what the specifics of the case are. And so I thought everyone provided some good information on that discussion. I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments. So keep up the good work on the discussion as well. I really appreciate everyone's participation on the discussions. So keep up the good work on that. All right, then the chapters 11 through 13 objective test. Most of you did well on that. Just as a reminder, I know I always remind you of this, but remember you can take that test as many times as you want to. I noticed that a lot of you only took it once, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but if you want to try to get a higher grade on the chapter test, you can take it multiple times, as many times as you want to, up until the due date. And your highest grade is automatically recorded on those. Also, I will be opening up the chapter test for the midterm exam to help you study for the midterm, and then also at the end of the semester for the final exam. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, so that brings us to what we've got coming up due for our next set of activities. So we go to the activities page in My Ozarka. Right now we are on week 6 of the semester. And of course, we just had work due last night, so we don't have anything else due this week, but we do have work due early next week. Specifically Tuesday, October 1st, we have our chapters 14 and 15 activities due. So you should be working on those activities. Don't wait until next week to get started because you may run out of time. Go ahead and get started now, and that way you give yourself plenty of time. All right? Also, think about that you're also going to have the midterm exam to do next week as well. So the earlier that you can get the chapters 14 and 15 activities turned in, the more time you'll have to study for the midterm exam, which is coming up next week. All right? So you have the chapters 14 and 15 assignment, test, and discussion all due again by October 1st, which is a week from today, Tuesday of next week. If you click on the assignment link, just remember you've got the PowerPoint slides available for you right there under additional resources. And that's a good way, after you've read through the chapters, those PowerPoint slides are just a good way to kind of go back and review the key points, the key concepts from the chapters, just to kind of study those key concepts. And then, of course, you have the videos that also cover the concepts from the chapters. All right, so just make sure you're using all the resources available to you. I think most of you are, but I always like to remind everyone of the resources that are there. And of course, also, just like I mentioned a few minutes ago, we also have the midterm exam coming up next week. It will be available from Wednesday through Friday of next week. And I'll send out more information about the midterm exam later this week. So be looking for that. I'll send it through course mail, and then I'll also post an announcement with information about the midterm exam. All right. And let me very quickly tell you what you're going to be looking at in chapters 14 and 15. Some of the concepts that you're going to be learning about. In chapter 14, we're going to be learning about the nature of personal property. We're going to learn about the difference between tangible and intangible personal property. We'll also look at the methods of acquiring personal property. And then towards the end of the chapter, you're going to learn about bailments and types of bailments. There are various types that we'll cover. In fact, the discussion that we have for chapters 14 and 15 will deal with a special type of bailment. And that's what basically is covered in chapter 15 is special bailments. There are specific types of bailments that the law covers for specific types of bailment situations. So in chapter 15, you're going to learn about private versus common carriers. You'll learn about the liability of common carriers of goods. You're going to learn about bills of lading, the liability of common carriers of people. And then finally, the very last special bailment that you'll look at in chapter 15 will be the liabilities of hotel keepers. And that last one, the liabilities of hotel keepers, is what the focus is of the discussion for chapters 14 and 15. So I think you'll find it interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading everyone's comments about concerning that discussion item. All right, so that's what you're going to be looking at in chapters 14 and 15. So be working on those activities. Let me know if you have questions. Also be studying for your midterm exam. Again, it'll be available from Wednesday through Friday of next week, which is October 2nd through the 4th. And again, I'll be sending out more information about the midterm exam a little bit later this week. So that's all I have for you for today. So enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend, and I will talk to you again. Probably not next week, since we've got our midterm exam coming up next week. It'll probably be early the following week before I talk to you again. All right, I'll see you then. Thank you.